I'm not a runner, but I feel like I am running a marathon with this project, and I am finally near the finish line. It's literally Friday, like in a few days. And I don't know about real running because obviously I'm not a runner, but I feel like my legs are just shaky and are going to give out at any time. I don't know if you've ever felt like this with a project or actually running or something else, but it's like you see the end and you wonder, are you going to make it? Like you see these videos of people like fumbling right at the end, and I feel like I'm going to be that person. The self doubt just creeps in so much during that end. Not just of will I finish the project, but will my product actually sell? Will people like it? You know, did I just spend all this money and all this time and this effort and it's just going to be a complete flop? And that is so hard to get over, and I am right now in the middle of that self doubt. So, oh, I'm new to this. But thanks for listening to my little intro. I'm Amanda. I might be new to small farms, but I'm not new to business and operational analysis. You see, I'm an industrial engineer. I've been an industrial engineer for 10 plus years. I've worked for big corporations. I've worked for manufacturing. I've worked for retail. I've worked for agriculture. And my goal is just to try and bring the knowledge that I have into my small farm and try to improve it. But then I thought, wait a minute, isn't that something that a lot of small farms could use? I mean, I know as a consultant, I would probably charge lots and lots of money. And I know I couldn't afford that as a small farm, and I probably you can't as well. So I thought, why not film it? I'm not polished. I have zero film skills, but maybe I'll improve, and maybe my little knowledge can help you improve your operations too. And that would be a win for me. So come join me, learn my story, hit subscribe if you'd like. But let's start at the beginning of my harebrained idea. It probably started 2 years ago. We had already been on the farm for a bit, kind of looking through different ideas and things, but I had this idea of let's start a dairy. And not just any dairy, let's do a direct to consumer dairy. See, my husband had grown up on a small farm dairy, 50, 75 cows, something like that. And he understood it's a lot of work. It is commitment twice a day, every day, or more. And it's not a lot of pay for traditional dairy, especially that small. And he was nervous. I said, hey, don't think of it just as the milk check. Think of it as the bottled milk, the yogurt, the cheese, the ice cream. Think of that. Look at the grocery store. Look at the wall of dairy. People love dairy. And I think it's something that people want more options with. And let's give it to them. Somehow he jumped on board with my idea, so we started writing the business plan. And quickly I realized that this is going to be a lot of work. There is so much regulation with dairy, especially value added dairy in my state, and in the United States in general, that it's really hard to get into. Not only financially, but just understanding the laws. Luckily, I have a few friends in that I can consult with, but this is kind of also what I do in general. I've done facility planning and layout, I've done operational layout, I've done labor analysis for my work, and I thought, let's just jump on it. So I weeded through the rules, created a plan, and realized I'd probably need about $150,000 to $200,000 to do this, which I do not have. I do not have that in my checking account. So step two was, how do I fund this? I found two really great grants that I wrote, not thinking that I'd get it, at least not the first year. A lot of times with grants, you don't get it the first year, you apply again the next year and maybe you'll get it. So I applied. I was pregnant with my second child at the time, and right before I went into labor in December, we got the notification we received the grants. that was a really big shock to me. I mean, I know I wrote a good grant proposal, but it's one thing to write it and think and dream about it, another thing to be like, oh, I now have to implement this. So we got 2 grants. We also got a quite sizable loan. And then I realized we're doing it. You know, it's not just a dream anymore. We're actually going to be breaking ground. Figuratively a little bit, because the building was already there. We were doing a renovation, converting a garage. But so that's how we got started. And we did most of the work ourselves. We had to hire out the plumbing because the state required it. But I just spent a bunch of money on renovations. I have purchased equipment, and we are just waiting to do our final inspection soon. However, why is it that when you get to the end of a project, things just seem to crumble? The bottles that we got and the caps that we got from our supplier, they sent us the wrong ones, so they don't work with our bottling machine because we have to mechanically bottle. So that is a trial. So I ordered some new trial lids to see if that'll work. And not only that, our chart recorder for our raw milk tanks, it records the temperature continuously. The probe for that is shorting out and it's not working. So ordered a new probe quick. Hopefully it will be here in time. Otherwise I will have to delay our final inspection. But I'm just trying to put it behind me. You know, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches a little bit. And that's what I'm trying to do. It is not in my personality to do that. I try to micromanage everything, but you can't do that on a farm, and you can't do that totally in business. You have to be flexible. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do what I can in the meantime, which is more cleaning and more testing. But until those things get solved, we will not be up and running yet. Fingers crossed, we will get news soon. And if you follow along, maybe you will. And all of this just to get to, and I am doing all this just to get to MVP, which is minimum viable product. We're doing a lean startup methodology, which means I just want to get to the minimum product that I can actually legally sell. And then we will do a continuous improvement after that to continuously improve our operations and our product that we sell to meet our customer expectations. But how do I know my customer expectations until I get a product in front of them? And that is where we are still just waiting. Again, I see that finish line, but I need to jump across it. So the question is, are you going to jump across it with me or not? Subscribe, and we'll go through my plans. We'll go through what I'm working on, and it'll be a real life example. Hopefully I won't fail, but if I do, maybe you'll learn from me and you'll learn to do something different. So thanks for listening. I don't know if anyone is going to hear my story